So let's just start first with the question that everybody's already asking, though I think it is premature. Are we in an artificial intelligence bubble when it comes to the financial markets right now?
Look, I mean, my opinion, and seeing tech over the decade, just like you have, I view this not as hyper a bubble. I mean, and the reason I say that, the real use cases, the actual growth that's going to come out of the enterprise and on the consumer, it's essentially a fourth industrial revolution playing out. So I'm not saying that there's some stocks that might not they might overshoot in the near term, but this is not hype. I believe this is a transformational growth that we haven't seen since 1995.
And it's interesting you bring up 95 because I've said much the same myself, that we've just kind of passed through, although not fully, the infrastructure phase of this build out, and we're entering the implementation phase. And when you go back to 1995, that AOL and Netscape and Yahoo were coming out, we hadn't even begun to touch the surface of the other companies that came to benefit from the build out of the internet infrastructure.
Look, I mean, you being almost a market historian to some extent, I think it's a great comparison because the infrastructure now, obviously being led by Godfather of AI, Jensen, Nvidia, Microsoft, the hyperscale players, Amazon, Google, that's just starting because now the use case, I'll call them the second, third, fourth derivatives of AI across software, across infrastructure, cybersecurity. If someone told you Dell was an AI play 6 months ago, you said, look, you had a good Friday night. So the point is that it just shows what's happening now. And these are real use cases. And we spent a lot of our time in Asia and talking to customers. And I think this is something, it's just starting in terms of the AI revolution.
Wedbush Securities Dan Ives is an analyst known for his bullish opinion on tech and AI stocks, and he's one of the few analysts that are extremely bullish on what artificial intelligence will bring in the future, as many of the companies he covers are considered AI companies. In a recent note to investors, Ives revealed his favorite AI stock to buy right now, and you might not be surprised to hear that it's Palantir, a company that he has been bullish on for a while now, saying that it'll have its Nvidia moment soon. So let's get into everything Dan Ives had to say about Palantir Stock and talk about whether the stock is a buy now amid concerns from both analysts and investors over its valuation. But before we get into today's video, if you want to keep up with Palantir's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market, so click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates.
Now, are the only opportunities in the Magnificent Seven at this point, or as you look out across implementation, do you see companies, whether it's in quick service restaurants, whether it's in any industry that would benefit from some sort of enhancement of efficiency and productivity, that those companies will see their profits or profit margins expand because they adopt the tools that are being developed by the others?
Yeah, I think you're seeing that like as a vertical in terms of fast food, some parts of retail. But I mean, I talk to, call it 50, 75 enterprises, every few months. The use cases are there now. I mean, in terms of financial services, government, look what's happened in healthcare, hospitals. So as this all plays out, you have software names like MongoDB, Palantir, and I think what you're going to see even on the semi side, okay, it's just been NVIDIA, AMD, Micron. I think the whole supply chain now starts to play out. But that's also why, okay, what happens to Intel? Where is this all move? And I think that's why the winners that will be defined over the next 6, 12, 18 months, I mean, it's a significant play over the next decade in terms of this period.
In his note, Dan Ives emphasized the differences between the current AI boom and the late 90s tech bubble, saying that what we're seeing right now is just the top of the first inning of a $1 trillion plus AI market opportunity coming to the shores of the tech sector over the next few years. With this in mind, Ives made a very specific recommendation, saying that Palantir stock is one of the best AI stocks to buy right now. Let's dive right into why he thinks so. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Investocracy. Palantir is made unique because of its advanced data analytics and AI software, which allow its customers to view the underlying patterns of events in real time. Additionally, even though AI lies at the center of all it does, Palantir does not ignore or leave out the human factor. The company sees AI technologies as a way of augmenting human intelligence, not replacing it, and works to combine both to reap the unique benefits that each can offer. Palantir's subscribers have access to a range of AI platforms, including the flagship Artificial Intelligence Platform, or AIP, which uses natural language processing to allow complex interactions with human users. AI and data analysis are becoming ever more invaluable across a wide range of industries and for a wide variety of customers. So, Palantir's services are in high demand, particularly in the Department of Defense. In fact, in May, the company announced it had received a $153 million initial contract with the Department of Defense, with additional awards possible up to $480 million over the next 5 years. This contract win made a nice cherry on top of Palantir's last quarterly earnings report, in which the company reported its top line at $634 million for a year-over-year gain of nearly 21%, and this was over $16 million better than had been anticipated.
Other names, Palantir, you called the Messi of Lionel Messi of AI. You love Palantir. Do you still love it?
Best pure play growth name and pure play AI name, I think, out there. And I think what Karp and the team have done is still so underappreciated. From a use case perspective, they are going to be front and center. I think this is one where Palantir in the next 2-3 years will be a household name. And I think they're just starting that journey. So it's a name. You'll have ebbs and flows in terms of quarters and overreactions. But this is ultimately a stock, $35 to $40 is, I think, where it's heading.
Well, you said that it was probably one of the most underestimated AI plays. When was it, that Palantir, what was the moment, the defining moment for you that you said, you know what, Palantir is not just Palantir or something good, it's something great. What was that moment?
It was about a year ago when I'm talking to all of our checks. And all these Microsoft, Oracle, all these partners, Palantir kept coming up. Because I think everyone viewed it as just a government play. But essentially, in the enterprise, especially with AIP, I think they really built the platform that's going to transform the company. And look, you could, and people will fret from a quarter to quarter in terms of what they're going to do. This is almost similar to when Jensen took Nvidia from a gaming company into, of course, the godfather of AI and the gold standard to where we are today. I think that's what Karp's doing with Palantir. This is a massive transformation story in motion.
Dan Ives is very impressed by Palantir, particularly its growing capacity for growth. He wrote that he continues to see increased momentum in the Palantir stock growth story, with AIP leading the charge in generating significant demand across both commercial and government landscapes. Additionally, he said that the company is extremely well positioned to gain a larger share of the AI market's $1 trillion opportunity, with AI use cases exploding globally. Indeed, the market for enterprise AI is rapidly evolving, and analysts expect it to witness a compound annual growth rate of 44.1% to reach $270 billion by 2032. As Palantir continues to grow its commercial business, the company is set to benefit from this expected growth. On the other hand, the global AI in aerospace and defense market is projected to grow to nearly $3 billion by 2030, so Palantir's government business could see some growth as well. Seeing a market like that ahead of Palantir, it's no wonder that Ives rates the stock as outperform. He sets his price target at $35, implying an upside of around 47% over the next 12 months. But even though Dan Ives is bullish, many other Wall Street analysts are not. The whole consensus here is based on 12 analyst reviews, with only 2 buys overbalanced by 7 holds and 3 sells. So, what does this mean for investors? Is Palantir stock a buy or a sell? Let's find out. But first, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
Okay, let's turn our attention back over to the AI craze, the trends, the growth, the innovation, and which companies could benefit too. Joy Yang is with us, Head of Product Management at Market Vector Indexes. Thank you so much for being here. I mean, talk about AI craze, my goodness. Some people were saying it was over in 2023. It's not over, right?
No,
What inning are we in this?
Well, we cannot stop talking about Nvidia, right? It's become essentially Jensenity, with people really focused on what are the enablers of AI. So these are the companies building the infrastructure, so these semiconductors. And I think we still have to be careful because if you look at our Invest semiconductor indexes, you have companies like Nvidia. It's up over 150% year to date, trading at PE of 70. And then you have a semiconductor company like Intel, which is down 30%. So you still have to really be discerning or really think about diversification.
Palantir is a company that managed to capitalize on the AI trend as its stock is up more than 40% year to date. However, we recently found out that Palantir won't be one of the companies included in the S&P 500 index. In the immediate aftermath of the S&P 500 exclusion, Palantir stock dropped approximately 2%, even though the stock was up 7.7% for the week before the announcement. The S&P 500's decision makes Palantir 0 for 2 since the company earned the right to be considered in the index. Of course, Palantir shareholders are disappointed, but this seems more like a temporary setback than a permanent exclusion, and Palantir will definitely make it into the index in the future. Analysts expect Palantir's inclusion into the S&P 500 to produce many benefits, and one of those is a more stable shareholder base as institutional ownership increases. Currently, institutions own only about 45% of the Palantir stock float. In theory, a more stable ownership base would reduce much of the stock's volatility, boosting the company's price-to-earnings multiple. Additionally, a stock's price generally rises upon inclusion into the S&P 500 as investors have renewed confidence in the company's long-term outlook. So this is one reason to stay bullish on Palantir stock, alongside the contracts the company wins from the US government. These contracts are extremely important because they serve as evidence that Palantir may be able to justify its growth expectations. The thing is, the biggest knock on Palantir is that its price-to-sales ratio of 23.3 is identical to its current growth rate, and this suggests that Palantir stock is overvalued. But that begs the question, where do you expect Palantir to be in 1, 5, or 10 years? If you have the time to wait, dollar-cost averaging to Palantir stock is a solid strategy that lets you ignore short-term price movement. On the other hand, traders may want to buy Palantir stock at the absolute best price they can. In that case, the last several months have shown Palantir forming a solid support base of around $20.56. That would be a price target to shoot for. But keep in mind that Palantir reports earnings on the 5th of August this year. That is approximately 1 month before the S&P 500 will report its next list of stocks that will be added or removed. If Palantir manages to deliver amazing earnings, maybe it'll be included this time, which will definitely boost Palantir stock. So if you think getting into the S&P 500 is just a matter of time for Palantir, then it might be a good idea to buy more Palantir shares ahead of the upcoming rebalancing. But what do you think about Palantir stock? Is it a buy now? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. And don't forget to tell us what your valuation for Palantir is. If you would like to know what companies like Palantir have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.